Thanks for joining me. I'm Jared Oliver. Panthers football faces off against the number 12 Oregon Ducks. The outcome, not so good. New cross-country runner Stefani Burger makes her debut. She speaks only to Primetime Sportz about that transition. Soccer fans, we've got news for you. GSU Soccer upsets number 21 and 28 nationally ranked Brown University. So let's get to it. Primetime Sportz starts now. The Georgia State Panthers traveled to Eugene, Oregon to face the number 12 Oregon Ducks. The Panthers fell 28-61. Seems like a bad loss, but to put up 28 points is a win for them against a team who made it to the national championship last year. Joining me now is Primetime Sportz correspondent and football analyst David Shield. David, did the Panthers exceed or meet your expectations for this matchup?
They exceeded it. Vegas only had Georgia State scoring 15 points in this game, so to score 28 against a team that made it all the way to the national championship last year is a really big deal. They moved the ball well on offense. Nick Arbuckle threw for 318 yards, 3 touchdowns, and he ran for a touchdown. They also had 22 first downs, so they moved the ball very well, and I was very surprised to see that against a very talented Oregon defense.
Well, you know, when a team scores 61 points on you, it can really hurt your confidence. But in this case for Georgia State, is this a win for them?
Well, I actually tweeted a question in to head coach Trent Miles, and he told me that the team actually has increased confidence. Of course, they're disappointed because you never want to lose no matter who you're playing. He believes that Georgia State can play with anybody and be competitive in any game that they play. But to score 28 points is a very big deal because Oregon is a powerhouse team in the Pac-12. So that's really kind of considered a win, but it's not going to show up as a win in the record book. So we're getting into conference play. It's going to pick up. It's about to get really competitive. And there is some momentum for Georgia State, though.
Well, the Panthers now sit with a 1-2 record. Top performers have played well. 2 we can say that were unexpected. Back to you, David. Who are some of the Panthers that have stood out to you? And can we see any other players make an outbreak for these next 9 games?
Well, we'll start on the defensive side of the ball. Bobby Baker, the safety, he transferred from UAB. In the very first game against Charlotte, he had 5 takeaways. He had the 3 fumble recoveries and 2 interceptions. Unfortunately, in the second game against New Mexico State, he was ejected due to a targeting penalty, which means you hit a player head-to-head. And when you do that in the NCAA, you're automatically ejected. In the third game, he played Oregon, and of course, it's Oregon, so you're not expected to do too much. But as we get into the rest of the season, we should see Bobby Baker make a lot more plays. Going overall to the offensive side of the ball, wide receiver Penny Hart. He's shown up when Donovan Harden is out, I'll get to Donovan Harden later, but he's got 331 yards and 3 touchdowns so far this season, and he's averaging 110 receiving yards per game. This guy is very talented. I love Penny Hart. He makes a lot of plays. He made some plays against Oregon that really stood out, and going into the future, he should be huge for Georgia State. And the guy that's throwing him the ball, Nick Arbuckle, he's got 989 yards this year, which is the top 10 in the entire country. He's also compared to 61.9% of completion percentage. He's completed 67.8% of his passes, which is also very high in the country. So Nick Arbuckle is really showing up this year. He's getting better. He's worked on his mechanics during the offseason, and he continues to improve throughout the season.
Yeah, I want to get back to Penny Hart. I mean, certainly he's having a great season, of course, with the injury of Donovan Harden and outside of Robert Davis. It seems like he's become the vital target in this offense, and for his freshman, he's certainly not playing like one. And how is he getting so open in the defense and finding holes in the secondary and the linebacker core?
Well, it's 2 things: scheme, and of course, he's just talented. Georgia State likes to throw a lot of quick passes, so a lot of quick screens and quick slants to Penny Hart, which is very good. And when you have speed like Penny Hart, you can just go. Getting Penny Hart in open space is very dangerous. It's kind of like Devin Hester, who has the record in the NFL for return touchdowns. Penny Hart is just as fast, if not faster, than Devin Hester. And blazing speed, doesn't matter who you're playing. If you got speed like that, you're going to make plays.
Right. Well, Georgia State will host the Liberty Flames October 3rd in the Georgia Dome. Although the Panthers are 1-2, but the way the offense has played despite the turnovers in the past 2 games, it seems Georgia State has the advantage in this one. David, back to you. David, what's the best way that Georgia State can beat this Liberty defense?
It's going to take them to get past this defense of Liberty. They're going to have to switch it up a little bit and try to be balanced, okay? Liberty has a very good run defense. They only allow 78.3 rushing yards per game, which is very, very good. In fact, they're coming off an upset over the number 7 ranked team in the FCS, Montana, not to be confused with the FBS. Number 7 in the FBS is actually the Georgia Bulldogs. So the FCS is the division below FBS, which is the conference that Georgia State is in. But having an upset over a ranked opponent is big no matter what division you're in. So Liberty with a good run defense, Georgia State's going to have to try to run the ball. If they can do that, then they're going to stop a guy by the name of Chima Uzawehi. He has 5.5 sacks. Yeah, it is a mouthful. He's got 5.5 sacks this season. And if you want to slow him down, you're going to want to run the ball, like I said. You're also going to want to throw short passes to Penny Hart, like I mentioned earlier. And if you do that, you're going to stop his pass rush. You slow him down. He's not going to come full go all the time. So that's how they're going to have to do that. And, of course, score points and stop turning the ball over. They had 4 turnovers against Oregon and 3 turnovers in the previous 2 games before that.
Yeah, certainly too many turnovers. But for the defense for the Panthers, what is it they need to do to stop such a well-balanced offense? You know, they can pass the ball efficiently and run the ball as well when they need to on maybe 31 or maybe a little bit more than that.
Right.
What does the Panthers defense need to do so they can keep this game intact?
Well, it's going to start by stopping the run. Georgia State on offense wants to run the ball, and then on defense they want to stop Liberty from running the ball. They have a two-man punch. They have a guy by the name of DJ Abner and Desmond Rice. Those 2 are very good runners. They're both downhill runners. They average 5.15 yards per carry. So every time they touch the ball, they're halfway getting a first down. So you stop them, and then you're going to force their quarterback to throw. And to be honest with you, they are balanced, but their quarterback is not very accurate. Their quarterback, Josh Woodrum, that's his name. I believe he's a junior, and he only completes 59% of his passes. Right. Most quarterbacks complete between the 60 and 70% range of their passes. He only completes 59. So force him to throw. We've got, like I said, Bobby Baker. The other DBs, they can take advantage of these inaccurate throws, get some interceptions and things like that, give the offense the ball and score some more points, and we can run Liberty out of the Georgia Dome. Right.
Well, there it is, Primetime Sportz. David Shilley always knows his stuff. Thank you, David. In an exclusive interview with forward basketball player T.J. Shipes, he shares his life story as well as his family's life to give only Primetime Sportz a look beyond the court. Primetime Sportz correspondent Kayla Artis reports.
Raised in the city of Beaufort, Georgia, TJ grew up the eldest of 2 siblings in a single-parent household. TJ's mother sought out Beaufort as a city that would give her children not only a good education, but a strong sense of community.
I was a single mom, and I had 3 really busy kids, and I was really looking for a good place for them, someplace that had really, strong teachers, a strong school system, someplace, that would be a good influence, for my kids.
Growing up, TJ was not simply a big brother. He was much more. He strived to be a support system for his sister and brother in everything they did, while being a respectful and loving son to the mother who supported and loved him in return. His love for his family and loyalty and compassion he showed towards friends and teammates showed from an early age.
The best big brother to his little sister. He would tuck her in bed every night, and every morning he would tell her how much he loved her and how beautiful she was. And and his brother Trevor was just the crazy brother that just hero worshiped TJ from day one. And he was the big brother that beat up on him, but he was also the one that protected him when he got into trouble.
He's always been there for me, and he's always taking care of me. I don't know if this is weird, but he's always like a dad to me, like having one around since like separation. Like once my parents separated, we got closer and we just spent more time together. He was always challenging me to get better, and he's like, oh, just keep pushing through. I come home from tough practice, he's like, oh, it's okay, you're still a baller. And then he just keeps motivating me and trying to make me better.
The values TJ was taught as a child translated to the court as he grew up to become a phenomenal athlete that not only impressed others with his basketball skills, but his strong work ethic, great sportsmanship, and dedication to the game.
He was the kind of kid that would come in, hard worker, always wanted to do it the right way. He was an old school player, if you will. He was a pleaser. He wanted to do everything the coach needed him to do. Phenomenal athlete, but I think he's a better person than he is a basketball player. I've heard from numerous people that TJ was pretty talented. And when I came in, like I said earlier, I don't think he realized how good he was. and he was one of the spearheads to us going to the state finals in the first year I came. So, you know, he did a lot. He rebounded the ball, he scored, he was a first-team All-Stater both his junior and senior year. So, I mean, he was a big part of what we were trying to accomplish, both on the floor and off. He was a leader. Culture all ran through him, and he was one of those kids we just wanted the other kids to be around and be like.
TJ has a family and community in Beaufort, Georgia that is proud of the accomplishments he has made in the past and continues to support him in his journey at Georgia State University. With the transition from Beaufort to Atlanta, TJ found a new home within the Panther family and has made an impact on and off the court ever since. I decided to sit down with TJ Shipes to hear more about his life at State.
So thanks for joining me today, TJ.
Anytime.
So who or what has been your biggest influence for the love of basketball?
This year,
Yeah.
my brother.
Okay.
He's honestly just gonna like me saying that. I don't know what it was really. I just, yeah, I guess my brother. That's it, really.
Okay.
There's not much of a response for that.
So what was it about Georgia State that drove you to play here?
My visit. I was on my visit with RJ and David Travers, and I'm pretty sure Marcus Kreider and LaRon Smith had already committed at the time. And me, RJ, and David just had like a great time. We got to play with the guys. We had fun with that. We went out. It was just a lot of fun. I mean, I'm from Georgia, so that was a plus as well. But coming when we were playing and watching them practice, it reminded me a lot of how we played at Beaufort, which I enjoyed, of course. I mean, it's high school, like who doesn't enjoy that? And then if that like carries over to college, it's just fast-paced and a lot of fun. I've been fortunate enough to be a part of these 3 past seasons, and I've loved each and every team that we've had the last 3 years. It's been a lot of fun, and you can just kind of see the program just keep building, and it's fun to kind of be a part of that journey for it, so it's a lot of fun.
Going into his senior year at Georgia State, TJ has a bright future ahead of him. He will undoubtedly have success in the upcoming season, but TJ also looks to find success and happiness after his journey ends at Georgia State.
I was thinking about playing a 5th year of sports,
Okay.
like football, or going into investment banking. That's just my 2 options that I'm thinking of. I don't know, I want to do a lot of things. Just have fun. Enjoy it.
Running cross country for the SEC now in the Sun Belt Conference. Grad student Stefani Burger transfers from the University of South Carolina to Georgia State University. She is excited to finish her career with the Panthers.
Difference, the University of South Carolina, the cross country team has, I don't know, roughly 20 to 30 girls, whereas the team here has 9 girls. And so that's definitely a different dynamic. So here you work with people a lot closer, and you definitely get to know on a more individual basis your teammates' strengths and weaknesses.
I asked Stefani what were some of the differences competing in the SEC at the University of South Carolina and now being at Georgia State.
The culture, I think, is definitely different, just like the location of the school. The University of South Carolina is located in Columbia, which is a smaller city, and so and since GSU is located here in downtown Atlanta, sometimes that's a challenge finding places to run because it's very urban.
I asked her what were some of the team goals the cross-country team is looking to accomplish this season.
Elementary, maybe, foundational. Maintain our fitness level throughout the whole season, so don't burn out too early. We want to really peak at the right time, and obviously that'll be for the conference meet. And we're hoping, it's a very young team this year. Most of the girls are freshmen, sophomores, a couple juniors. So it's a young team, and we're looking to hopefully get top 5 in the conference this year. So that's our goal, to do that and just build on everybody's fitness so that we can reach that goal and do that.
The team in the first 2 invitationals finishing 6th among 66 runners in Oxford, Alabama, and 13th of 61 runners in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Turning now to GSU's volleyball team, who now has a 4-9 overall record and 0-3 in conference play. Not the start they were probably looking for. Injuries to Eliza Zachary, Crystal Lee, and Brianna Jones have hindered the team. Thank you so much for being with me today. Remember, you can get the latest sports news anytime at gstvonline.org. Remember to follow us at Primetime Sportz_sports and subscribe to our YouTube channel at GSU Prime Sports with a Z. I'm Jared Oliver in Atlanta. Have a great week.